Hey, how are we all doing? Welcome back to another stream. It's great to see all you legends here, those of you obviously that are here. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, we are back for another day. So do fasten in, of course. Let me know who we've got in the chat. Get your comments in. Of course, drop a like. We haven't been live since Friday. So I was off yesterday, but yeah, good day, Brucey. How we doing, mate? Great to see you first in the chat as well. We've got Usama. Hello to you. Hello. Usama, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. If you are new, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Let me just recalibrate my camera there. Hang on. What's it doing? There we go. But yeah, for anyone else that is new alongside Usama, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe. And of course, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin today, dragging the market down with it. We're going to be looking at, obviously, the rest of the altcoin market. We will look at some crypto-related stocks. We will look at all the good stuff. But yeah, welcome back, of course. It always feels like a long time when we miss a day, doesn't it? It always feels like a long time once we've missed a day. But we are back. And it's good to be back as well. However, obviously the market isn't looking as good. But that's part of the game, innit? We've had some weakness coming in on Bitcoin for a while now, a good few weeks, and obviously it's just coming to a head. But we'll analyse obviously where we could be going, what could be next, and all that good stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on. Of course, Stonksy is red on the hourly, catching the drop down. Bitcoin keeps dropping. If we go and have a look at the daily, of course, we've had these regions drawn out for a while. Where are we? Well, of course, we've not really completely fell out just yet, because obviously we've got the daily close to come in. As you can see, yesterday's daily close basically roundabout kept it safe and on the very, very thin ice of falling out of the range. Now, of course, today's daily candle is fully outside, and if it closed like this, it will close outside and, of course, have broken that support completely. The day's not over. Do I think today's candle will close green? No. So I do anticipate, obviously, us getting a bad daily close. But, we'll play it, obviously, as the market brings it to us. So currently, we are obviously outside. We've not closed outside yet, so we've not confirmed, obviously, a break of SR. But we will likely do that at the end of today. So where could we be going next? Well, of course, the next region of interest that we had highlighted was down here, wasn't it? This was the next region of interest that we had. And it's slowly making its way there. As you can see, we have the wick from the 10th. Of course, that big liquidation event. That is yet to get filled in completely. We did do some of it, of course, on Friday the 17th. But that's yet to get filled in, which would also then bring it, of course, in towards this daily demand zone here, that we've had drawn out. We looked at this last week, looked at obviously maybe breaking below here, which we now are. So then that reopens these levels. We are obviously trading now below lengthy support. So now we look to the downside. This would be first stop, second stop, third stop, in my opinion. Do let me know what you think. Usama says that they think the next target is 92 or 95k. I am in full agreement with you, Usama. I'm in full agreement. I am mostly looking at this region here. As you can see, this region where we use this as support for, about 2.5 weeks, something like that, whatever it was, all along here. This also ties in with the CME gap. So there is a CME gap. For those of you that don't know, and I don't think a lot of people still realise this, but there is actually a CME gap down here. Now, whatever you think about CME gaps, doesn't really matter. The fact is, the market, most of the time, closes them, for the high majority of the time. And there's not that many left open, obviously, to the downside. So we know for certain that the market does gravitate towards to me looks increasingly likely. That is personally where I'm looking. But, if all else fails, you do have this area down here, which, in and around 85k would come in as an area of interest for me as well. But yeah, do let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? What are you looking at? And what are your kind of scenarios that you're thinking? We do have 6 likes on here, so do make sure you up the like. If you haven't dropped the like, scroll down, hit the like button. It is massively appreciated. I am going to drop in the BLOFIN link as well for anyone not signed up to BLOFIN. Do sign up. It's non-KYC. It's a great exchange to do all of your trading, all of your, stable swapping and all that jazz. Someone's actually just unliked. That was really mean. That was really mean. Someone just unliked and left as well. We had 16 viewers and 6 likes. Someone unliked and then left. Yeah, that was really mean. Let me just do something here. I'm just going to go on Just need to repost this. There we go. There we are. But yeah, so they're my thoughts on Bitcoin. Again, nothing too groundbreaking. It's levels that we've had outlined for a while. But, you know, we just need to see that follow through now, don't we? And it will be a good reset, you know, regardless of whatever you think about, you know, the market and where we are in the cycle and all that jazz. The fact that Bitcoin was struggling so much up here, and we kept trying, didn't we? We had this one originally in July, then we tried again mid-August, couldn't break through. Tried again in October, couldn't break through. That obviously shows that there's just not enough strength up here and not enough momentum to break through this barrier and obviously send it higher. So we have to come down, and I think something like this wouldn't even be that bad. You know, if we do just bleed down, and then say we come into here, or whether we go lower or wherever, and then this will probably, you know, likely resolve into maybe into late November, whatever. Maybe we get some sort of push up in December going into Christmas, and then maybe we tailor off, and obviously we get the usual horrible. But I think moving into January, you know, you could get something like that for sure. I think something like that definitely doesn't seem bad. It seems bad at the time down here, but, you know, market corrections are healthy. It would enable us to come down, test demand down here, clear out liquidity, and then look to then expand back to the upside. So I think something like that wouldn't be the end of the world at all. It's definitely something that I'm looking at. Like I said, I mean, I think anywhere in and around that CME gap, give or take a couple of K, would be a good value area for Bitcoin. So we'll see what we get anyway. We'll see what we get. But that's my plan anyway. I'm not really too interested. I think for anyone wondering, you know, what could we get in the immediate future? I think coming into 100K is obviously a big psychological level in it. You know, it is the biggest number for Bitcoin out of all of them. You know, 100K obviously separating 5 figures from 6 figures, just being a big juicy round number, massive historical barrier. I think coming into here likely gives a pop, and then maybe we come up for like an underside rejection of that, and then maybe like that. So, you know, maybe that is an area for like a short-term bounce. You know, that would give like a 6-7% bounce, wouldn't it? And then before continuing down. I'm not really too interested in looking for bullish scenarios until we reclaim this. So say for instance, you know, we put in some sort of bottom here, and we actually got back above 107K, 108K on the daily and closed there, then I would actually be looking then, you know, to just play the range again, and looking towards 116K. So that's obviously how things can change quite quickly. Again, not marrying a bias. I'm not, you know, completely blind to looking for upside, but the market needs to show strength. That's the key thing from here. What's basically happened, bro, alts are looking terrible. It's so bad. Yeah, we'll have a look at alts in a minute. But I just want to cover this point. Basically, what's happened here is that the market, if you're looking at it as a trading perspective, then the market has basically broken your trust. So the market has broken our trust because we've lost the key area. We failed to obviously expand upside, and now we're obviously trading below a key region. So for us at the moment as traders, the market has lost our trust. Now, how can it regain our trust? The way that you regain the trust is obviously by showing us something positive. Now, for me, a bounce in and around 100K wouldn't be positive enough to be saying, no, let's go to new highs. You just want to reclaim the key levels. You don't just want to be blind to obviously levels of upside in this. So to me, obviously coming in towards 100K, give or take, and bouncing up, you know, when we get back towards 106, 107K, I would still be very, very cautious until, of course, we put in, say, like a daily close of in and around 108k. Obviously, anything above 107 will be quite good, but really, you know, the higher the better. So that's how I'm looking at it anyway. Do let me know in the chat if you're looking at it differently. What do you think? But it's definitely not the time to panic. I think it's the time for preparation and preparing for any scenario that is thrown at us. And then obviously just looking at how you're going to play it. So then when the market comes to that point, you aren't going to panic and you're not going to be, you know, just in a state of shock and confusion. You do want to be prepared. And yeah, this is basically, I think, all you need. You know, to the downside, for me anyway, you have 4 key areas before things get really terribly bad, which would be number 1, number 2, number 3, and then number 4. So there's 4 chances for Bitcoin to basically save itself. You've obviously got a chance in and around 100k. You've got a chance in and around 92, 93k. You know, maybe overshoot. I'm fine with it going to, you know, if we want to put something on here, I'm fine with it coming to clear out them bottom wicks and overshooting a bit to create some panic. That's fine by me. You then have this area here. I think this will be great because once you come into here, you obviously fill in this inefficiency that we left behind, just one, you know, obviously just one big daily candle. But then you also would leave behind people waiting to get filled here. So what you'll have is obviously people wanting that kind of really strong, really really strong, obviously high risk reward area of, you know, 76, 75k, whatever. Coming into there, obviously, point of compression, consolidation, and then expansion will be quite good. But yeah, they're the key 4 areas for me for Bitcoin to save itself. Good afternoon, Alistair. How are we doing? Make sure you do drop a like on the stream if you haven't. It does obviously help me out, and I do appreciate it. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking anyway. That's what I'm thinking. Just monitor at 4 levels. This one, though, is, if I find a little magneto, I think this one is my favorite for sure. This one is my favorite. No, sorry, wrong. This one is my favorite. Yeah. Oh, why is that gone like that? Yeah, this one is my favorite. And this will be the one I'm patiently waiting and hoping for, and then executing on. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, until then, all we can do is wait. But yeah, do let me know how everyone's doing. How are you doing, Alistair? What are your thoughts? Give me your thoughts. Give me your feelings. Give me all the jazz. And ultimately, yeah, that's all we can do. I'm just going to go and retweet something. Let me just retweet. Yeah, there we go. Just retweeting the YouTube link on the CSE account. So that's Bitcoin anyway. That's Bitcoin done and dusted. ETH, again, ETH for me. I'm not really too interested with it until. And what's really annoying for ETH is this. I'm like the fact that we planned that out 4,700 and 30, 40 or 50 into there and then sell off. It wounded me. It's absolutely wounded me, the fact that didn't pull the trigger on that. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, yeah, so this is where we're at currently. Obviously testing August demand, and again, this is probably just relying on Bitcoin to bounce from here. But I think the true test and the true value area and the true risk reward is in and around 3k. I think this would obviously tie in nicely with that kind of final minus 15k, minus 15% on ETH, minus 11%. So we'll probably be relying on some sort of ETH strength coming in to stop it going too far. Maybe it goes down lower. No. Maybe it goes down to here. Maybe it overshoots it, whatever. But for me, this would line up perfectly. If it lined up with obviously Bitcoin approaching, 92, 91k, then yeah, that for me is then game on. So ETH, pretty simple for me. And again, I'm not too bothered about that. What I'll do is just let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this because these are useless now. Is obviously this is the sell-off zone. So that would be the point of trickery for ETH. So if we hold here and we bounce up, I think obviously then that may would lead to something like that. But I'm open to I'm open to outcomes. I'm open to see what Stonksy tells us as well. We will move on to Stonksy in just a minute. Just looking at the raw chart for now. Mike, how are we doing? Mike, mate, it's been ages. It's been ages. How are you? I've not seen you in a good long while. How are things? Yeah, it's great to see you. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at on ETH anyway. I think, like Bitcoin, one more leg. Just a full clean leg down. I mean, Bitcoin's not really started its leg down. That's the thing. And that's why I think here is not really like anything more than a bounce, because we've not really even started a leg down from compression. We've been compressing inside this range for months. As you can see over the past, basically since mid-August, so for the past 2.5 months, most of the price action has occurred within here, minus, this week of price action here. From here on out, it's basically been here. So, are we really going to get a 5-6% drop after compressing like that? To me, it makes sense to come down to there, but we'll see how it goes anyway. But yeah, my thoughts on that will be just ETH lining up hopefully pretty nicely with coming in towards 3k. If not, then I think anything kind of in and around maybe this area, 2,800 upwards. But we'll see. XRP. That would have made a great short, wouldn't it? We didn't get up there, so we were looking at 275 for kind of a clean test, but we didn't get up there. So let me get rid of these. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. And again, XRP. I don't know what that is. Where are we going for XRP? Well, I think we're basically just coming down, aren't we? And again, this will line up. As you can see, everything will be pointing to just a clean drop into a key region, because it would drag ETH, it would drag XRP, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a look across other alts just into prime positions. And you can see there a pullback in towards $2, and again maybe below. Be fine going down to there as long as we hold, of course, the April on XRP. But anything just in and around there, that Bitcoin drop would give it quite nicely. So that would obviously, that's lining up quite nice. If we move over to Solana, now Solana is already in our zone of interest that we pinned out. As you can see, we looked at this last week and we said, this region here was key. If we fall below, target down here, and that would have been a really nice trade. So there you go. For anyone watching and thinking, does this stream provide value? Well, there you go. There was your Solana short from down there that we planned out. Lose the grey box. Bang, into there. Sorted. Done, dusted. See you later. So that's where we're up to with that. But I do want to show you some deeper Solana analysis. You got a face up. Mate, how long have you not been here for? Mike, how long have you not been here for? It's great to see you. Thank you very much for joining again. It's an absolute honor, mate, to have you back on stream. Please do drop a like, and anyone else, please do drop a like. Now, need to get the poll out because, of course, we have US Open coming in. We have US Open coming in 25 minutes. But yeah, what I do want to do is swap over to the CSE newsletter. Now, This goes out every Tuesday, sometimes on a Wednesday, but 9 out of 10 times, I would actually say like 19 out of 20 times, it goes out on a Tuesday. And it's definitely worth, of course, getting this in your mailbox. So if you do want to subscribe to the newsletter, you can find it on the Crypto Saving Expert website. You just type in Crypto Saving Expert. But I do the analysis for this, and then Spud, most of you probably know Spud, puts the rest of it together. But yeah, Bitcoin takes a tumble. What a nice image that is as well. Really nicely put together, that, isn't it? Of that bear holding the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dropping towards $100,000 as the bearish momentum continues in the market and rallies are met by selling pressure. Bitcoin is looking like it will confirm a loss of its major support zone, shifting it back into being resistance. From here, Bitcoin must either reclaim the region or a drop towards 100k is on the cards. Furthermore, sustained weakness may take it into testing just above $90,000, which lines up with another factor. Bitcoin has an open CME gap at 91,500 to 92,500. This was left behind during the strong run up throughout April and May. This CME gap is small but remains open and is a possibility for the price. Dropping into this region, perhaps an overshoot to the downside, may provide the bottom zone. So there we go. Exactly what we were talking about. Of course, looking at the chart, there's the CME gap. So I think, closing it, but then, maybe prepare for an overshoot of 1, 2, 3k as maybe like a fast wick or something just for liquidation. Wouldn't be against that. Again, big tests are coming for ETH, and you can see I put this together this morning. ETH is already down there, isn't it? ETH is already down at the first one, of course, filling in that wick from early October. Ethereum is also approaching lower targets with a test of the wick coming up from the 10th of October crash. This is also where the price found demand back in August. However, like Bitcoin, a further downside region remains a possibility, which is $3,000. Solana. Solana, like most altcoins, are carbon copy charts of what we're seeing in Bitcoin and ETH. It is testing SR now, but has zones below in which the price may subside, selling pressure within. Of course, the upside is also open for bounces or even a bottom should Bitcoin put one in. And again, that sell-off zone from Solana from yesterday, any obviously approach up towards the top of that would be met with strong supply, I imagine. You've then got SR exactly where, it's, I'm guessing it's below this now, actually. But then, yeah, 2 downside levels there. So that's what I'm looking at on Solana. As you can see, I had kind of this region filled in here. And then, of course, the test of down here, which, may take it down towards the wick. So if we look at Solana and we go to, this. So where was I looking? I was looking at, hang on. Let me pull this across. It seems like Bitcoin is going further down. So let me get rid of this. So this would be definitely an area of interest for me on Solana, in towards kind of 140. Obviously come in and it would just swipe all them lows as well. You see that? Just clear out all that liquidity below there, just pocket it right into there. And then anything, down towards 125, which is also, if I remember correctly, the high time frame kind of range low that we formed. So that's what I'm thinking on Solana. Everything Cyber Canada. How we doing, mate? Being out in setting steel for all these data centers. Oh, okay, nice. Steve-O, how we doing, mate? How we doing? Link, $12, not far away now. You still think buy zone or lower now? Still got my order in at 12. Let's have a look. We'll have a look. Litecoin run like Zcash. Mate, I've been waiting for Litecoin run for ages. I would say it doesn't obviously tie into the privacy side of things that is pumping at the moment, but it definitely ties into the kind of Dino coin pump, because basically all these coins are Dino coins, aren't they? Zec, Dash, Zen, Monero. They're all Dino ones, but they have the privacy in them. Now, if we were just talking Dino pumping, I think Litecoin is obviously one of the ones that is overdue. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at on Sol anyway. So let's see, Litecoin. Oh, Link, wasn't it? Let's do Link first, and then we'll do Litecoin. Let's see, Link. So I had, this was one area that I was looking at. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's pull it down. It depends on what you think, Scott. It's like, where do you think? How far do you think that Bitcoin's going to go? That's the main thing, isn't it? I think I'm in the mind frame that we are going to go down and close the CME gap at 92. So I think obviously Link would naturally pull back more than 10% in that scenario, but I still think, you know, that could be quite the buy zone in terms of the high time frame. But if you're looking at it kind of in terms of lining up maybe with a Bitcoin bottom and stuff, you know, I think coming into here, what would that be? So yeah, that would be like a 20-25% pullback potentially. I think anywhere in here, which is like a $1 region, you can see 12 down to 11. I think in there is kind of the golden zone for Link. I think that would be a great opportunity and maybe make a great buy zone. Of course, not financial advice, but yeah, I think I just at the current rate, obviously, it just depends on what Bitcoin's going to do. Now, if Bitcoin, you know, drops down to 100, and then that's the bottom. You know, if 100 ends up being the bottom, which is, you know, maybe we get like 3% drop, maybe we get a 4, or maybe a liquidation, 5-6% drop. If you're looking in and around 100 being the bottom, then that zone lines up pretty nicely, doesn't it? This one, because that would basically, you know, if Bitcoin's going to drop 3, 4, 5%, the way that alts have been going, you would probably assume, you know, anywhere from a 8, 9, 10% drop on something like Link. So yeah, I would probably say whatever you think Bitcoin's going to do, mate. Pick one of the two zones. We need an option for Bitcoin down and stock up. I mean, that has basically been, hasn't that been the past couple of months anyway? That is basically what has been happening, isn't it, Aaron? That's basically what's been happening. The S&P has gone to new highs constantly. Nvidia all-time highs, Amazon all-time highs, Apple all-time highs. I don't know if Microsoft has hit all-time highs recently. Google all-time highs. Basically, that's what we've had, you know, the past like month or two. I agree, 92. Yeah. Well, if you're in that mindset of 92, I think that is around about like 11, 12% pullback on Bitcoin. I think, you know, hitting potentially up to 25% on Link is not out of the question, and it's probably like a solid region in it. Do make sure you drop a like on the stream. What have we got going on likewise? 13 likes, not bad, but we do have some making up to do, don't we? So if you haven't liked, please do drop a like. Come on, get them in. Let's get this towards 20. And of course, vote on the poll. We do have US Open coming at us in 15 minutes for hype. And again, you know, what I would urge you to do is, because in these scenarios, it is better to listen to what you're thinking and what you're saying than what anyone else is saying, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own funds and you're responsible, you know, for your own spot bags and trading. I would go on to the Bitcoin chart and I would look at it and I would say, where do I think Bitcoin is going? Because again, you know, for something like hype, we have formed this range, haven't we? You know, you look at it, this is the range on hype. You know, this is it. You can see going back to obviously June, 4 minute. Obviously, we blipped over, back under, formed it again, you know, trading within it. So this has been the range, you know, for the past couple of months. But again, you know, it just depends on where you think Bitcoin's going to go, because a 7-8% pullback, you know, maybe up to 10%, would maybe line up with Bitcoin going down to 100k. But again, you know, if you're in the camp of maybe looking for low 90s, maybe even 80s, who knows, you know, then hype probably isn't going to do 1-for-1 on Bitcoin, is it? You know, it's very weak in, you know, particularly over the past week. So it's probably not going to do that. So then obviously, you know, you naturally have to look for lower levels. And I think this zone looks quite tidy. Anywhere in and around $25 to me looks nice, and that would be pretty brutal, wouldn't it? You know, that would be a 35% pullback. But as you can see, hype has been one of the weaker ones over the past week or so. So while we're looking at, you know, maybe some things doing 15, 20, 25%, I definitely wouldn't rule out hype doing a 35% in the scenario that Bitcoin goes down lower than 100k. If we're going down to 100k, then, you know, and that ends up being the bottom, then you would assume that this area likely holds. This thing seems to have set a downtrend now, doesn't it? So BNB seems to be in a downtrend. I think, you know, coming in hot would be a test of in and around upwards of 850 for me. That would be nice. Of course, filling in the wick from the 10th as well, so that, you know, puts it into a really nice region. But, you know, is this maybe a top for BNB? Again, you know, kind of set a downtrend, haven't we? You know, top, swing failure pattern, then down, bounce, sell off, another leg down again. This thing is wild. Has this thing topped? This thing may have topped, I don't know. But I mean, that is one horrific daily candle at the moment. And particularly over the past couple of hours, it's had a horrific sell-off. But again, I don't know. It's not looking the best on the daily now. Dogecoin. And the thing is, we've had these zones outlined, haven't we, for absolutely ages. And it's all about patience. You know, we have these zones outlined to the upside and to the downside. And for the most part, you can't really do anything with them because you just have to be patient, because, you know, often price is quite far away from high time frame levels of interest. But we are definitely getting there on some of them now. For instance, Doge. Region, you know, area of interest 1, area of interest 2. This one got absolutely hammered, didn't it, on the 10th? That got absolutely destroyed. So, okay, you know, that is, I think 42% is a bit of a stretch. I think into here, you know, maybe down towards 20% would be quite reasonable. I have no idea about this thing. No idea. I mean, it's came into my first region of interest, finally. Came into my first region of interest, just above it. But ultimately, and again, it's just another one where just carbon copy of what do you think Bitcoin's going to do. But again, you know, it came in to where we had this box drawn and sold off after the CZ tweet. But yeah, I think ultimately maybe we should see it fall in towards there. This thing looks cooked. Pump is quite interesting. Let me know if you want me to keep going through these. Do you want me to just keep rattling through downwards on the list? Just let me know. Are you guys enjoying the stream? Let me know if you just want me to keep just moving vertically downwards and just going through whatever I have underneath each one. What are we doing for likes? 16 likes, not bad. Come on, bit more. We do have US Open in 10 minutes as well. So if you haven't voted on the poll, now's your chance. Get your vote in. Get your voting on the poll. Now's your chance. But yeah, just let me know. You guys pretty happy with me? Just keep rattling through, and I'll keep rattling through. I think ultimately, let me just get rid of this. I think on pump, and again, this is one where, you know, it's very, very close to immediate demand in it. I think in towards here would be really nice. And again, you know, measuring size of pullback, 30% sounds about right, doesn't it? For something like pump, if Bitcoin's going to pull back another 10% or so, would sound about right. You know, maybe an overshoot. Can't see it filling in the wick, in all honesty, because that would just be an absolute calamity. But again, down here, maybe quite nice. But yeah, I'm going to be ready for whatever comes. You know, whether we go lower, maybe whether we don't, remains to be seen. But just preparation. And again, you know, look at this on something like TRX. I had this zone outlined. We dropped just straight through it. We then, as you can see, over the course of last week, just rejecting from it, and then eventually sold off. We came into our next region, which is overshot a bit. But ultimately, I mean, I'd be looking quite nicely lower. This thing just looks cooked, doesn't it? Litecoin is the one, obviously, that got mentioned. Now, Litecoin, I want to view on the weekly, because I do agree that, you know, in terms of the Dino dynasty, this thing is due a pump at some point. It's just obviously hard to know when, but you would assume. I mean, it's done okay, but yeah, I think at some point it should be due a nice pump. I think it would actually be quite worrying. I think with the point of where we're at, with obviously the privacy coins pumping and a lot of them being Dino ones, I think we're probably at the point where we don't want this to pump, because if this just started pumping towards $200, $300, $400 now, I think that would be a really bad sign. But again, you know, where would I be looking on something like Litecoin? Do remember that nothing in this stream is financial advice. It is all just educational and, you know, just analysis. But again, you know, nice pullback in towards $70. I'd be pretty happy with that. We've covered Link. AVAX, party seems overdone it. Again, you know, this is another one where had the situation outlined nicely, where, you know, we lost the grey box and we just continued down. Another one where it looks increasingly likely that we're going to go, and I mean, this would be interesting, because we're basically teetering on, obviously we are on the support of 2025, as you can see, March, April, June, in and around here, but we don't really have much room. And given what Bitcoin's doing, I think, you know, a sell-off of 25%, and that would take us, if we actually look, if we zoom in, it would take us to where it just started impulsively just expanding in 2023. Now, this one's a bit difficult because it's just very fast and thin move. Let me zoom out a bit. Christ. I mean, do it? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, between $12 and $11 looks okay. And again, you know, would give enough of a pullback. But if you are in the mindset that Bitcoin bottoms out at 100k, then likely all we're doing is coming in and maybe testing the extremities of demand. You know, you've got that wick there that's yet to be. No, wait, it has been swept, of course, on the 10th of October. So basically at, you know, the limits of demand. It doesn't look very good, but it's support until, you know, support is support until it's broken. But, you know, a 30% drop would be a nice clean out for AVAX. Does anyone agree with any of this analysis? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me remove that poll, because the poll is a lot of people think you're going down on US Open. But let me get a poll for going to Bitcoin bottom. Let me do, and just remember this is fine for in and around, you know, give 1, 2, 3k is fine, give or take. Let me see. I think 84k is a good one. There you go. Let me know in that poll. I've gave you 4 options there, 100k, and again, give or take a couple of k is fine. But basically, they are my levels of interest. 100k, 92k, 84k, 76k. Again, give or take 1 or 2k either side. Let me know in that poll. What do you think? Where are we up to? Sui. I mean, some of these charts look diabolical, don't they? I mean, look at this on Sui. This has just melted through all sorts of levels. Like, that daily pivot never got punished. Never got pushed through. Let me remove this. I mean, you look at Sui, and by Christ, I mean, this is how old these levels are. I haven't used blue boxes in God knows how long. That's how old these levels are. I think if I'm looking at Sui, I'm thinking a pullback into here looks really attractive, to be honest. And what would that be? That'd be a 20% pullback, but again, it's not very strong, is it? But I think structurally, nice pullback into there where we found demand all throughout September, October 2024. But it couldn't, could it? It couldn't. But I wouldn't rule it out. Just in the case of structurally, obviously, you've just got that to melt through. Then haven't you got this uptrend to melt through? Come and fill in, and then basically just give an SR test there. But they would be my two areas of interest to the downside. And again, remember, this is for what I'm thinking. I think if you're in the mindset of Bitcoin bottoming in and around 100k, I think you're pretty all right from it. Finding demand and a bottom in here. But again, it just depends on where you think Bitcoin is going to go. I would say if I was going to line it up with Bitcoin's price action, I would say 100k. I would say low 90ks, and then I would say just Goblin Town. But yeah. SK levels thinks 100k/98. Yeah, I mean, again, 100k give or take, probably give some more levels to the downside. 99, 98k. SMFC, how we doing? Great to see you. I'm good. How are you? You okay? We're just basically rattling through the whole list. We have got US Open coming at us in 1 minute, so let's get ready for that. We was up to Sui, remember? We was up to Sui, and Bitcoin just keeps being in free fall. But remember, we was up to Sui. And we'll just keep going down the list. But, let's go and... Oh, hang on. I don't want to miss it. Yeah, we'll just keep going down the list. Hang on. There we go. We'll keep going down the list once we've got US Open out the way. And we'll just keep rattling through. But yeah, I've got just over 10 seconds to go. And then we'll see what's in store for us. I mean, what could happen today? And there we go. We got US market open, so that is Wall Street open for business. The S&P has tumbled massively today, hasn't it? The S&P has tumbled massively. Can that get absorbed today, which should lead to obviously some nice room for a Bitcoin bounce? Wait, what's going on? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, the clocks have gone back. So the clocks must have changed in America. We've still got another hour to go. Oh, god damn it. Right. Well, I've got that timing wrong. Okay. Well, there we go. I got that timing wrong. The clocks. Anyone? I mean, I don't suppose there'll be anyone on the East Coast But have American clocks changed over the weekend? On Friday, we had US Open at 1:30. Are we back? We're back to 2:30 then. We're back to 2:30. When did them clocks change? Does anyone know? But there we go. So we've still got another hour. Actually, we've still got another hour to go. Currently, we've got. Make sure you get your vote in on the poll as well in the chat. The poll for, as you can see, for the direction on the US Open was down. So bear that in mind for the next hour. But mostly we've got 92k coming in, 100k behind it, and then 76k. Right, so let's switch back. Right. So we was up to Sui, weren't we? We're Sui. So we was up to Sui. We've done Sui. I'm not going to bore anyone with XLM. H-bar's been getting quite a bit of interest, to be fair. Well, what I'm going to do is, well, I've got no US Open coming in at that time anyway. I'm going to run to the toilet quickly, so I'll be back in a couple of mins. I'm also going to have a look while I'm there when them clocks change, because, yeah, on Friday, obviously with the UK clocks changing, our US Open time was 1:30, but now it's now it seems to be back to being 2:30, which is something I'll have to bear in mind now for streams. Zek is getting pummeled, isn't it? Oh, that's got to be the top in for Zek. That is a horrendous daily candle. That is a horrendous daily candle. That's surely got to be the top. I don't know, but that is an awful daily candle. Anyway, yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Grab a drink, go to the toilet, whatever. Of course, sign up to Stonksy and BLOFIN if you haven't. Links are in the description, and I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back. There we go. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you to all of you legends that stayed as well. Yeah, still can't believe that we got the timing wrong for US Open. Seems like Eastern time also went an hour back. Now I don't know why I had it in my head that we had I thought that we had 6 months of US market opening at 2:30, and then 6 months of US market opening at 1:30 for people. In obviously on UK timing. Seems not. It seems like it's just like a few weeks, maybe like an either clock change or something. I don't know. But anyway, we'll carry on downwards again. If you do have any charts that you want me to run through, do let me know, and we'll just keep cycling through them. Yeah, we'll just keep going down the list again. I'm not going to bore you with XLM. No one really cares, do they? However, H bar is obviously something that people have been interested in. As you can see, we've had these levels outlined for the H bar price action now. Again, you know, another level from, well, another 2 levels really from the Stonksy streams. As you can see, we predicted the bottom for this move, which came in and then pushed up, and again the top of this move by looking at obviously where would price reject. Came in a little bit higher, came up to there, but you know, grand scheme of things, that caused the nice rejection area. And I do think, again, this is another one where, depending on what you're thinking on Bitcoin, you know, the bottom may come in here, or the bottom may come in here. And again, when you say bottom, I use that phrase loosely because, you know, it's entirely possible, you know, that the cycle has topped and we just get something of a complacency bounce. It's entirely possible that this is just a pullback and we rally to new highs in, I mean, Q4 seems very optimistic, doesn't it? But, you know, maybe Q1 next year. We'll have to see, but yeah. I'm lost for words on this thing. I'm lost for words on this thing. There is nothing to say about this at all. There is nothing positive, and I'm really sorry for any dot holders that are watching. But I mean, what could you where? I'm sure I can't even find the words. Like, you've got that there, which basically goes back to what was the bottom of the launch candle in August 2020. $2. You've got that. I don't think there's any price action anywhere else, is there? Let's see. Let's check some of the usual suspects that will have launched it earlier on, if it did launch earlier on, but no. I mean, even this one was higher. Yeah. You just don't know what to say, do you? You just don't know what to say. I'm lost for words. So really what you're dealing with now is just basically hope. Hope and waiting for new levels to like form and be tested. I know why. That's what lemons do. What? What's that? But yeah, I mean, this thing, I don't know. This one, I mean, it still could have levels to go down again. It depends on what time frame you're looking at. But I mean, I'm not bothering touching this with a barge pole, but you know, maybe back down towards 2-3 cents. Let's get back to the daily chart anyway. But actually, to be fair, because if you look at it, we're actually approaching. We may actually be better on the weekly chart. Again, let's get rid of that. We may actually be better on the weekly chart with where things are coming in. I mean, you look at something like Uni. By Christ, you know, we're coming back basically towards cycle lows. I mean, look at that. Pull that right across there. You basically, and again, this is dependent on and I think this is kind of the scary thing. Is it dependent on what Bitcoin does, isn't it? If Bitcoin drops towards 100k, and I'll keep saying this over and over because maybe new people are joining or whatever, but it really depends on where you see Bitcoin bottoming. Because if it bottoms around 100k, then likely it holds this kind of area, you would assume anyway, where it's found demand it, you know, this year. But if Bitcoin goes down to 90, you know, low 90Ks, then towards the cycle lows will be there, which is just crazy, isn't it? Considering Bitcoin would still be at 90K. Altcoins really need to get some room to the upside before it gets too late. Ondo, cooked again, just cooked in it. It's at weekly demand and in a weekly, you know, zone of interest. But I don't really know what to say about that. This thing cooked. Arve. There you go. Level from ages ago, from when I had different backgrounds. Looking at the weekly chart anyway, I mean, that seems entirely possible to me. Tau. Entirely possible. Another test of weekly. Seems possible to me. This thing is now losing. This thing is oh my god. This thing is now on the brink of losing its actual cycle lows. And is looking like it may go back into 2020/2021 lows, which is just incredible, in it. I mean, let's see. A measured move into the... Yeah, I mean... The problem is that typically, if we were looking at this chart, I would look at this and I would say, I think Bitcoin's going to go down more than people think. So we'll come and sweep this wick. We'll sweep this wick. We'll take this one out with it as well. That would be my logical thinking in looking at something like this. And then maybe obviously look at somewhere over here. Maybe like, you know, maybe like there for a bottom, or, you know, maybe like somewhere in here. But the problem is, because of the 10th of October, the crash, that has just basically ran through all liquidity levels on alts already. So these now basically become obsolete because they don't matter. All they matter for is basically just the limits of demand. So you can see obviously down here, $12.70 is basically the limit of demand for Ethereum Classic in terms of, you know, the really extreme drops. After that, you know, we're obviously looking lower. And again, I think in towards $10 makes sense, which would just be crazy. Bottom is going to be sub 60, mate. I think sold a chunk and paid off all debts, so now the market can do what it will do. Stress free. Good, mate, good. Mate, I'm glad for you. I'm really happy for you. Well done, Sean Sensible. Like SMFC says. Cadena done pretty easy short, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not talking about a cycle bottom. Like, if you now think we're in a bear market, I'm not talking about a cycle bottom. I'm talking about a bottom before maybe like some sort of decent bounce. If you now said to me, you know, Dave, well, I already said last week on Wiz's stream that I thought that the cycle top was in. I've already said that. Now, again, I try and obviously hold a very loose bias because I'm obviously coming on here and I don't want to bring personal opinion into it. I just want to look at the chart and tell you guys what I think, with looking at the chart completely unbiased. But I did already say around about, I think it was 113 or 114K that I thought, you know, that the top was probably in. And I'm open to changing my mind. You know, I'm really open to changing my mind. But if you said to me, you know, in the snow that we're now in a bear market, how low do you think we can go? I honestly probably think that there's a good call for 30 or 40K, which is maybe even lower than you're thinking, to be honest, Dean. Which is maybe even lower than you're thinking. I don't know. But I think there's room to be a really nasty one. But I'm looking at it in terms of, you know, on the Bitcoin chart, where would price drop to now before we get, you know, maybe a decent complacency bounce, or, you know, bounce to new highs. You know, it's entirely possible, in it. I'm not holding any sort of bias. This thing cooked. Obviously, new ticker. Previously, Matic. There's just nothing there. There's literally nothing apart from this wick. There's just nothing there. And again, that would probably be the logical attraction for the price, given that there's nothing there, which will be a minus 30%, which does line up, with that kind of 10% pullback on Bitcoin from here. Casper breaking down. It'd be interesting to just obviously leave these levels and zones highlighted and just see where we come in. I mean, Render has just melted through every single level that I've had drawn on it. Back in towards there. Seems logical for Render. Dupe. Cooked. Again, cooked because there is some, obviously, price action down towards there, but a 10% drop, crazy. ARB. Cooked. It's testing its lows already, and Bitcoin is still above 100k. This thing, garbage, cooked. Radium, cooked. You can see it all along here, the importance that we're looking at. Radium, down to there. I think maybe even fill the wick completely. OP, there you go. Remember this on OP? So we drew this on OP. Earlier in the year. Obviously looking at when we was when it was in and around, obviously trading at dangerous levels. Obviously had this highlighted. We come in, obviously ticked it perfectly, bounced, and then we had the skull and crossbones for if it went below there. It's now below there, and obviously again minus this wick, which was basically a couple of seconds. There is no price action down here, so again, cooked. It's crazy. I would love 30-40. I can see 50, but I think sub 40 is unlikely. Do you reckon? Because do you not think what you'll have is obviously just naturally on the chart? I think them areas look prime for testing on a high time frame, at some point, whether it be next year, year after, whatever. I think looking at the chart, them areas look prime for testing. But as soon as you drop below Sailor's price, Sailor's average entry, which is like 75k, he can't buy anymore because is any money that they have basically has to go to maybe the interest payments and the debt repayments. Every single DApp at the moment basically is underwater, maybe give or take a few, but they are probably not too far from being underwater. So DApps won't be able to buy anymore because they will be, obviously horrendously negative. May have some DAT capitulations too, obviously them capitulating on their holdings. I think it would just be pure chaos. And then also, even if you go down to 60k, Sailor is then already 20% under his average entry, which then piles the pressure on massively, doesn't it? Because there's no more big buys coming in from them. There's probably no buys at all because they have these big debt repayments coming up, don't they? And maybe, whatever else, this kind of weird house of cards that they've built. Again, I'm no expert on exactly how strategy has been raising money and stuff like that, but I mean, I think all that sort of pressure could definitely sink the price. Doing site visits in the rain today, watching my portfolio half by the minute. Well, mate, if you wasn't doing that, would it be worth being in crypto? Think it's worthwhile moving into Palantir or Circle, even if crypto dumping, or is that not sensible? Well, I think Palantir looks like a top or close to a top. I wouldn't be putting any money in Palantir at all. I wouldn't be putting any money into, I'll be honest, I wouldn't really be putting any money into any stocks now because the stock market has been running very, very hot. I wouldn't be buying any stocks, I'll be honest. Circle, again, it's basically just trading alongside the market, isn't it? Market goes up, Circle green, market goes down, Circle red. You may as well just trade crypto. You may as well just trade Bitcoin Afternoon debut. I'm short Palantir. Did you see the move it got yesterday after earnings? It went all the way up to like 220 post market and then dropped all the way down. It's crazy. Just hang on. Yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. Yeah, it's just my opinion. You could do what you want with your money. You know, it's not financial advice, but I mean, I wouldn't really be buying. I won't be buying any of them. Because, like I said, you know, Palantir has just ran so hard. The chart is wild. I mean, if that was an altcoin chart, you wouldn't be buying it. That's in my opinion, anyway. Because you'd be buying like, well, why would I buy the top? And again, Circle. If you're buying Circle, is that really any different to just buying Bitcoin? And then obviously, you know, you have the advantage of it being 24/7. Where Circle, you know, if we get a weekend dump, you've got to wait for the market open to then obviously get rid of that. Yeah. I mean, these are just horrendous, aren't they? I mean, honestly, a lot of these are just lost for words. You know, this is basically on a one-way track back down towards the very start of the cycle. Like, you look at that. This is basically just on a one-way track towards the very, very start of the cycle, January 2023. Inge. Just, I mean, again, you know, what do you say to this? It's sinking through there. I would probably say this is one of the ones where the wick comes in nice because, you know, in terms of a weekly aspect, you think there, but again, you know, overshoot of the wick will clear it and, you know, maybe remain in that zone. But again, you know, it's a long way down still. ENA back down towards, you know, the ENA party's over in it. ENA party over, back in towards the lows. Let me just check my emails. I'm waiting for an email off the solicitors. No, nothing yet. Into the. Let me know if you want me to look at anything specific. I'm just rattling through basically. I'm just going downwards, just in pure disgust. I mean, look at this. Obviously, the wick from last month set a new low. Really, you know, the high time frame demand has been in and around like basically just above 35 cents. Has been where demand has been for IMX, and it's not too far away now. So, you know, new lows. And that is crazy to think it was all the way up there. LDO, same thing. WorldCoin, same thing. This thing is just cooked again. Say, again, you know, say it's coming back in towards obviously where it found demand back in March. But again, this will, you know, largely depend on how low do you think Bitcoin goes, because this has, you know, maybe the potential to go all the way back down to there. When I say how low Bitcoin goes, I'm talking about like obviously structurally where we are, because if you look at the Bitcoin chart on a weekly, we are basically, you know, all the way down to at some point, no matter where you hit, you're going to get a decent bounce. You know, if we hit, I anticipate we close the CME gap. I think from there we get like a decent bounce on Bitcoin. You know, I would, be, you know, 15% at least. And again, maybe this, you know, this is just me talking about just up to levels, because from there we'd then be coming obviously into resistance. But, you know, maybe back up to there, that would be, you know, 25-30% bounce. New highs still remain possible. And again, you know, if not there, in here, you know, there's 20, there's 25. So I think we're in a really interesting spot where people just, the views are so mixed. You know, people will think that the cycle's over. People won't think the cycle's over. And then ultimately then that, you know, really affects how you look at things. Crow, cooked. This thing is cooked. I'm really annoyed I didn't short this. I was looking at this on stream at 37 cents, I think it was, when we had the massive wick up, and I didn't short it. Yeah. S. State of that. That is shocking. That is awful, isn't it? These are crazy. I mean, what are you supposed to do with price action like this? I mean, what are you actually supposed to do with price action like that? There's literally just nothing there. You've got the launch candle, which will probably just be one hour candle anyway, I assume. Yeah, no worries, Scottish. Anything for you? We could get a bit of a crypto reset if it's all over, which would be a really, really good long term. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it would basically just kill off all the garbage, wouldn't it? And I think you'll have a lot of funds / exchanges being caught offside, which yeah, I mean, in the near term, it would basically just kill the altcoin market. Do you think institutional investors front run Sol because lots of people said they'll be selling in Q4? I'll be honest, I don't know, because I don't really follow the ETF flows. I don't follow the ETF flows, so I have no idea coding. I couldn't tell you what the ETFs have been doing yesterday, the past week, the past month. I couldn't tell you about the inflows. I don't know. What I would say is, it's just, I don't think you really need to look at it into that too deeply. I think all you look at it is, we compressed on Bitcoin. Right. If you look at the Bitcoin chart, I'll pull the daily up. So we come up. Hang on. We come up here. We come up here, didn't we? So in July, set a new all-time high. Sold off a bit, come back up. Set just a slightly above all-time high. Sold off. Consolidated, run up, set again, just a very slight above all-time high. So what was clear is that, you know, basically above these highs, and each time you get above a high just a little bit more, the bullish momentum and the buying pressure that was pushing it to new highs basically just ran out, and just big, obviously, sell walls were coming in that buying pressure couldn't meet with. So you do this, you know, 1, 2, 3 times. If you can't, if momentum runs out and you can't carry on making new highs, then obviously the next thing is to go and test the lows. And I would argue that we haven't even really begun expansion to the downside yet, because if you look at it, in my opinion anyway, you know, we've spent the last 2.5 months the majority of the time in here, haven't we? This has just been the range. We spent a week above there. You know, we spent like a week above there, setting a new high, and then dropped back below. So, you know, we haven't really even begun expanding to the downside. Well, we have and we haven't, you know, but at the moment, all we've really done is like 2-3%, which is why I'm obviously looking for something bigger than just a run into 100k and then bouncing. Because after 2.5 months, you know, something like this, you know, if you look at that, where we broke, what did we do on this? We've done, you know, 7-8% and then ran out. That would take us down into 100k. You know, 7-8%, you know, that region would take us down towards 100k, just below. And then we'll see. But the CME gap, to answer, where was we up to? Hang on. We just looked at ZRO, haven't we? Let's have a look at Aero. The CME gap is between 92,500 to 91,500 on the CME chart, which basically means we need to go to around about 91 on crypto exchanges to fill that CME gap. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people actually kind of didn't realize or forgot that we actually had one there as well. I don't think a lot of people actually realise that we still have one open all the way down there. This obviously never ended up filling its highs. That would have been a really nice triple top on Aero too, wouldn't it? But we'll remove that for the time being. Again, this is one of the ones where it's actually kind of positive. This is actually one of the ones where you're looking at it and it's not at its lows. This has plenty of room to the downside to fill in. Even a 30% downside move takes us still around about 2x up from the March-April lows. So that's nice to see. Orca, I don't even know why I have this still on the thing. That was from when it had that massive upbit move. Let's remove that. Oh, dear God. That's horrendous. Zig. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, you just don't wormhole. Horrendous. Bitcoin Cash. Not so bad. This is a good one. This is a good one. Plenty of room to come and fill into the downside. And it not be going back anyway. This had a good run as well. TWT, Trust Wallet Token. I mean, we're basically coming towards the end, aren't we, of like what I've actually got on offer to show you guys. Zen is filling in its thing. This thing has been crazy. Dash. Oh, not this thing again. That thing better not be starting again. But yeah, I mean, we're basically towards the end. Obviously, we're just kind of at all the... If you do have any specific ticker you want me to look at, now what we'll do next is maybe go and look at some memes. I'm sorry for the pain for anyone I'm about to bring. Usually when people are this negative is the time it bounces. I mean, personally, I just like to focus on the chart. I don't think it's really being negative. I think it's just kind of being realistic in it. I mean, it's just kind of being realistic. I don't even think this is negative. I actually think this is a good thing. I mean, we still, price needs to pull back at some point. And if you can't go higher, you have to go lower, don't you? You could go sideways, but again, that is broken. I don't think it's negative. Like I said at the start, let me just remove that. I think I could see pull back into here. It's just a routine pullback, innit? That could easily lead to new highs. I don't think it's about being negative. I think it's about being just realistic. Because it's better, it's better to prepare. If you prepare for the worst and hope for the best, at least if it gets down there, you're prepared. Because what will happen is you'll have people that just refuse to believe it could go back to 100k, refuse to believe that it could go back towards 90, refuse to believe it could go back sub 90. And then when it gets down there, people will be like headless chickens, panicking, not knowing what to do. Whereas if you've already planned for each scenario, you can be calm, you can have a plan ready to execute. But I wouldn't really say I'm being negative. I would just probably say I'm being realistic. I mean, I don't think anyone would you really want me to sit here and go, it's all right, guys, don't worry. There's nothing to worry about here at all. Nothing to worry about at all. Buy the dip. Moon, new all-time highs next week. I'm just obviously trying to be realistic and provide value to you guys. To be honest, this feels like bear market dumping slow continuously. I mean, yeah, really, it would be better if it just done it fast. The slower it is, the worse it is. Really, it'd be better if it got it over with fast. At least then we'd have the rest of we'd have the rest of November to recover and launch some sort of bounce / relief rally. MPC coin. Oh yeah, nice, mate. Well done. Pepe though, yeah. I mean, Pepe. We'll have a look at them because we're going to move on to memes. Yeah, no, mate. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, yeah, but they're people that maybe just haven't prepared for downside, aren't they? They're people that probably just haven't prepared for downside. We've been looking on this stream at 100k at the CME gap, 92, 91k for weeks and weeks and weeks, with it being a possibility. You know, we've sat here on the streams and we've prepared. We've done, you know, we've done obviously the preparation work. We've looked at every scenario. And really, you know, it would just give a nice clean wipeout. It would give a nice clean wipeout to then launch, you know, some sort of rally from. I remember a YouTuber doing that one cycle. I think it was 2018. Well, the thing is, if he kept doing it, I assume he ended up really well off. If he was doing it in 2018, just continuously bull posting, even as the market was going down, if he just carried on doing it and doing it and doing it, obviously he would have reached a point of bottom and then would have been really well off in 2021. So hopefully they kept doing it. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the weekly chart, though, you know, when you look at the weekly chart on some of these things, they're just, I mean, it is just, on some things, it is diabolical, innit? I mean, you know, you're basically at cycle lows or historical lows, or just going to new lows. Like, this wick is so annoying because it basically just taints everything, because obviously without this wick, you'll be able to thoroughly see that OP is now in just downside price discovery. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, it can all change. You know, like I said, I don't know if anyone's jumped in recently, but you know, towards the start of the stream, I said, you know, if you recapture the daily, you know, a strong recapture of the daily fit around 108k would be positive, and then I would be definitely then looking to just play the range again back towards 116. The thing is that price, Bitcoin, and the market has lost our trust. If you are looking, obviously, for upside, now it can only obviously regain that trust by showing your strength, and that would obviously be a regain of 108. But at the moment, the market has lost my trust in being bullish, which then is obviously why I'm looking for further downside, and then obviously looking then for it to show me signs of strength to then regain my trust. Cryptos are us. Oh yes, I know that guy. Yeah, I know that guy. Yeah. I remember he was on Around the Blockchain. Do you remember Around the Blockchain that BitBoy used to do? He was on Around the Blockchain, I think, a couple times. Yeah, I know the guy. I think he's still around. Well, I don't know if he is now, but I remember seeing him definitely over the past kind of like 2 years at least, I'm sure. I remember seeing him. If you are watching the stream and you haven't, please do drop a like. Please do drop a like on the stream. Yeah, we'll carry on in a second. Yeah, we'll carry on now. We'll just keep cracking through, shall we? Let's see. Yeah, he has 800k subs now. Yeah, very good. I mean, the thing is, yeah, I mean, yeah, he could have done anything back then and made massive gains moving into 2021, couldn't you? Obviously, we looked at Doge. This thing was moving actually quite interesting. This thing was moving interestingly, wasn't it? But again, you know, magic lines doing the work. Probably would have been better having it a bit higher up, to be fair. I mean, that would have been a much better place looking at the weekly. But yeah, I mean, in all essence, all we've done is come up, hit SR, and sold off. This thing is pretty wild. You never hear. I don't know about anyone else, but I never ever hear about anyone trading or buying SHIB ever. Anyone else? Like just never. Never ever hear about it. Yeah. But again, you know, this thing looks destined, doesn't it, to come down and fill the wick in, and then also come and test 2023 demand. This don't look the best, does it? If you go on to the daily, this is like sinking fast, isn't it? This thing is sinking fast. I mean, yeah, if we move it to the, I think, yeah, towards kind of 40, but I think with the route that with the way that this is selling off, I mean, this was down like 15% plus yesterday. It's down another 18% today. I wouldn't even trust it to stop selling at 30% off for me if Bitcoin does carry on going lower. I think obviously, you know, could actually come in and test that kind of March low with the rate that it's going anyway. Bonk, there you go. Standard from Bonk. There was the plan drew down towards there. It's yet to go and test it. Pepe. This is for Bobby this. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's hanging on by a thread in it. Again, you know, it's testing weekly demand. I'm not really too sure about this. Maybe something on a daily. It's like right at demand, in it. Yeah, I mean, on the daily, you know, down towards there. And again, you know, you would be looking there, but that wick's already cleaned it out. So, yeah, I don't know. Fart coin. There. I think anywhere in that zone on fart coin. 30%. That got smashed yesterday, didn't it? Pengu selling off pretty ferociously. I mean, yeah, obviously you're going to get bigger sell-offs on memes, aren't you? I mean, what would I be most interested in? I think for playing upside on memes. So whenever I think Bitcoin's at a point of where I'm expecting a bounce, I think I would be looking probably to play 3 memes. SPX, Fartcoin, and then this one, Bert. This thing moves very, very nice in the market. It moves very volatile too. But I'm kind of hanging on for kind of 1.9-ish, anywhere in and around there. But them 3, yeah, move very volatile and nicely in the market. But I mean, apart from that, memes, you know the story. They're just obviously more volatile, aren't they, than anything else? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you know, we'll see what we get. Bitcoin is kind of hanging around nicely on the 1 hour at least. You know, it seems to have subsided a little bit, doesn't it? I think that is even bigger than probably pitching crypto of your own money, building them connections, getting invited. Yeah. Did Reeves' speech do anything to UK markets this morning? I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Hi Nick, how we doing? How's the house going, Dave? Yeah, should definitely have the keys this week. Still haven't got the keys. Obviously, I had to go and do that thing yesterday, but should have the keys this week. I'm hoping, obviously, sooner the better. I don't really want it to be Friday because obviously anything could happen, and then you're having to wait till Monday again. I'm hoping that it's going to be tomorrow or Thursday. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Friday. I mean, yeah. Just we'll see. But yeah, hopefully it should be done ASAP over the next few days, and then just need to get in and get cracking. We've been told that we can start scheduling an exchange like those solicitors who recommended the fight. Yeah, I know. Really good, aren't they? Do you know what the thing as well is? is that I tried to do that referral thing, and it said because I put obviously the details you give me in, and it said because you'd already been given a quote, we couldn't do it, which is annoying. When I recommended them to you, I should have fired you over that referral thing straight away. I'm still going to speak to them now and see what we can do. Hopefully we can each get the thing. Hopefully they'll take 100 off for you and give me 100. But yeah, that's what it come back and said, because you'd already been given your quote and stuff like that. I couldn't do it, but I'm going to speak to them and see what they can do for us anyway. I'm going to speak to them today, probably after stream. But yeah, we have 10 minutes to go until US Open. Let's see what you guys are thinking anyway. Really nice light ratio too, 29 votes. So mostly people think 100k or 92k. And then quite interestingly, a lot of people have gone for 76 instead of 84. So yeah, let's end that poll. And yeah, we've got 10 minutes to go until the market opens. Now, obviously from tomorrow, I'm going to have to go back to 1:30. No, sorry, I'm going to have to go back to 1 o'clock start time, since that we've had this change in the US time zone as well. So tomorrow the streams will be back to 1 o'clock because now US Open is an hour later for me than it was last week. So that's annoying, but yeah, we'll see. Right, let's carry on, shall we? We will watch US Open, no? We will watch US Open and see what we've got coming. Obviously today, the S&P is down just over in and around 1% in futures. So, yeah, obviously, Mag 7's down pre-market, Nvidia down to 202, Apple down 267. You know, you get the gist. They're all kind of down. Annoyingly, I was going to add to Nvidia again yesterday, but I didn't. Yeah, just trying to remain patient with it. I kind of want just one kind of really hard blow off top on AI and then look to short it. But that's where we're at anyway. Yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, have you noticed that MicroStrategy has changed its ticker symbol? Look at that. To B for Bitcoin. Look at the Bitcoin B there on MicroStrategy. Don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but yeah. That's down to 255. Coinbase down to 318. Circle down to 113. Ouch. Gemini down to 17. But yeah, that is the market. We know we've spent, I need a minute to be honest, just spoke basically non-stop for nearly 2 hours. I think I've bought short Nvidia every day for the last 2 weeks. Yeah, good strategy. Because you'll have probably got some towards the highs then, won't you? Like 210, 207, 208. You'll have probably got some towards there. What's been going on in the CSE Discord? Anything much? No. Brutus, so we had Australian ETF news by BlackRock and still nothing improving in price. Doesn't really mean much though, does it? I think that's the thing. Like, the thing is, I think any sort of variations of ETFs now, I mean, I would be interested in if the spot Bitcoin ETFs get levered ones, 3, 5x ones. But the thing is, like, you can just gain exposure to Bitcoin in any way now. Like, other countries don't have to wait to for spot ETFs, do they? You can get it through MicroStrategy. You have been able to for years. Coinbase, Circle. You can get exposure in many, many ways. So if people wanted to get exposure to Bitcoin, they could have easily done so over the past couple of years. I don't think really we'll see anything like that impacting the price. I don't really think the levered ones would either that much. But yeah, we've got 6 minutes to go. We've we've not really got much going on now, have we? Not really got much going on. Just gotta wait. But we'll see. I mean, this is going to be fun. Also, what I do want to check, and we'll just check this. We'll check this on stream. I'm planning ahead. Let's see. Go. I'm getting ready to plan ahead because obviously it's only a few weeks away. Let's see. Oh, hang on. Maybe get one of these or something for the streams. I'll get a better one. I mean, they look rubbish, don't they? They look like the material that would really itch your head. Look at that, 25p, 15 quid delivery. I'm gonna maybe look for an orange Santa. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe a red Santa hat. I want like a really nice Santa hat to wear on stream. I'm gonna wear it every single day in December. And I'm going to have Christmas music playing. From December the 1st onwards, I'm going to have Christmas music and I'm going to have a Santa hat on. Look at that. Yeah, nice little Santa hat. I'll get one of them. It's only a few weeks away, isn't it? We've got obviously bonfire night tomorrow and then basically we're on a run to Christmas. I would do it earlier if I felt it was appropriate. I would probably get my Santa hat on tomorrow and get the Christmas songs playing. But we'll do it every day in December. We'll have, instead of the background music that we've got at the moment, we'll have Christmas songs, and it'd be a good time. Hopefully lift the spirits of the market too. Never know, if we get the worst over with, obviously in the first 2 weeks of November or something, for whatever downside Bitcoin is going to do. Hopefully we could get some type of relief rally, in towards the end of November, first half of December before things go quiet for Christmas. Hopefully we could get some sort of positive Santa rally in the market. Yeah, we've got 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes to go. Love watching Harry Potter movies over Christmas. The thing is, I think is it right that like I assume it is because it's one for each year, innit? But every Harry Potter film will have like a Christmas segment, won't it? I think, anyway, or most of them do, anyway. I do know what you mean though, because yeah, they do have like a segment in, don't they? But yeah, it does also feel kind of like weird. I mean, what's my favourite Christmas film? I mean, obviously you got the standard one, haven't you? Home Alone. I think Home Alone 1 and 2. Home Alone 3. What one was Home Alone 3? Which is the one where they change the main character? Is that Home Alone 3 or is that Home Alone 4? I can't remember how many films he did. Did he just do 2? I think he did, didn't he? Anyway, obviously them ones are good. Polar Express. I like the Grinch animated one. The animated Grinch is good. I'm gonna try and watch I want to kind of try and watch more like cheesy ones this year. Like one of them ones where it's all set around Christmas and it's kind of like American cheese, like American cheesiness. I kind of want to watch more of them. I'm gonna try and watch a film each day in December. So maybe we could do that. We'll go through. That'd actually be a really good. I mean, it's not obviously related to the market. Oh, we're open. And I think that's the only time on the stream where I've actually had to ring it twice because I got the time wrong. But we are actually open. But yeah, maybe we'll go through. We'll make a list. 25 days, 25 Christmas films. And make a list of that. That'll be actually quite good, especially if the market gets boring. No, there's a Home Alone 3 where they changed the main character. Yeah, they changed the main character. Look. Yeah, they changed the main character into this kid. It's actually quite a good film, to be honest. It's actually quite a good film. It's not bad. I wouldn't say it's not as good as the original 2, but yeah, there is actually a third one. But I don't know why they changed the main character. Maybe he grew up too much and obviously wouldn't maybe fit the bill for kind of obviously the main character role. I don't know. I can't remember what the actual setting was because yeah, I'm sure I can't remember. No, we should go and watch it. I don't know who the actor is. Maybe that must be him. Alex D. Linz. Yeah. Let's see what's going on anyway. Oof. Yeah, Nvidia down 2%. Message just getting hammered in it over the past week. Yeah, I mean, they all opened down. Wouldn't surprise me if they go and all retrace and go up. Obviously, will be good for Bitcoin, but we'll see. Third is okay. There's a fourth. I didn't know there was a fourth. So you learn everything new, don't you? I've never watched this one. I've never watched it. I didn't know there was a fourth. God, look at the rating on it. Yeah, it does look terrible. The fact that they're actually charging as well, that is criminal. If this film is so bad, so you can actually watch it on Disney Plus. I might go and watch it just to have watched it. But the fact that Sky Store are charging £3.50 for it when it's, looks so terrible, is criminal, isn't it? Think we need a Dave review on that over Christmas. Yeah, or we'll put it on the list. We'll make 25 days of 25 Christmas films. Why do you think MSTI is getting sold off? Is there a chance they can be liquidated? I think we spoke about that once. Well, basically, all this MSTR is basically a levered Bitcoin ETF in it. That's basically what it is. It's basically a Bitcoin ETF, but a leveraged one, so more volatile. Also, it kind of most of the time front runs as well, like what Bitcoin is going to do in terms of rallying and then obviously selling off. But basically, I mean, Bitcoin keeps selling off, and I think as well is you got to remember just how much it rallied. I mean, MicroStrategy basically did. And if you go and look at the weekly chart, you know, it went from, you know, as low as like $15, but spent obviously a lot of time in and around like 30, 42. So in that region, you know, obviously that was a wild wick, but you know, anywhere up here, people are 10x up, 15x up, maybe some people 20x up. So obviously a bit of profit taking, but if you actually just zoom out, all it's doing is ranging, isn't it? Like, you know, if you look there, that is just a range for MicroStrategy as the same as this one. You know, this one was, isn't it? Obviously, this is a much wider one and a bigger one. But, you know, it spent the best part of 8 months ranging there. Now, the thing is the velocity of the sell-off in it. I know what you mean, Jeff, because obviously if you take the top there, it's down basically 45%, while Bitcoin is down. What's Bitcoin down? 20. But then also, you know, you got to remember that if it's seen as a levered ETF, it's probably going to trade more volatile. So, yeah, I also think now in terms of liquidation and stuff, I'll be honest, I don't know. You can never really seem to get a proper answer. I've asked Grok this, and you can never really seem to get a proper answer. But I think obviously the market will become more fearful the closer that we get to their entry, which is like 75k in it. So the closer we get to their average entry, I think the market will just become more fearful in general, especially, you know, in the event of at some point we drop below that and start, you know, maybe to go 10% in the negative, then 15, 20%. Obviously, there's probably going to be more and more, you know, just rumors and stories and fear that, you know, maybe they'll have to sell some or whatever. So, yeah. But Bitcoin's not really done much on open. The S&P's dropped a little bit more. But yeah, thank you for watching. It's been a great stream. We will be back tomorrow now, obviously, with the clock change over in the US. We will be back to 1 o'clock UK time. Stream starts. So that'll be tomorrow. And yeah, have a great rest of the day. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Drop a like, subscribe, sign up to BLOFIN, sign up to Stonksy, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.